of StarCraft.
That's right.
And we're going to start this off on the map Roadkill. Now, this is actually very interesting.
Yeah, Roadkill is a really cool new map that we have out here. A non-Korean made map. It's on the ladder right now as well, so definitely go give that a little check-see. But you have low ground mains. It's a 3-player map. There's some very interesting terrain features, like a giant dinosaur skeleton in the center of the map. You know, it blocks a lot of... Well, the thing is, that is a very interesting terrain feature because, like a Terran push, if you're pushing around the center, Protoss can't really engage you around the dinosaur skeleton. Or there's going to be Protoss skeletons all over the ground.
Damn right. Do they have skeletons? They always kind of turn into dust or something when they die, right? Or they vaporize?
Yeah, I guess they actually do.
That's crazy. What if they have no bones and they're like jellyfish? But they can still kill Zerglings that fast.
Well, yeah, why are they that strong then is my question. But, you know, the map is actually, I think it's really good for carriers as well. You can shift terrains and go over cliffs so quickly, but will it get to that point? Mind is really good at early technical attacks in TVP, so definitely that could catch Horang2 off guard if he's trying to be too greedy.
Again, we've mentioned this before, but I can't stop mentioning it enough because we've never had this in a tournament before. But the winner picks the next map, which is uncommon in StarCraft tournaments. Generally, the loser selects the map. So there's a chance that if you get that momentum, you win that first game, you start picking maps you like, you can take the whole thing. So game one, very important as we start this best of 5, Mind versus Horang2. Look, there's even a bone right there by the Nexus Artosis. Maybe that's related to that dinosaur.
I don't know why I said it was a 3-player map. It's a 4-player map, of course. But anyways, I've actually played this map a whole lot, too. I don't know.
No, it's funny when
my brain is like malfunctioning.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's a really nice drawing. This guy really wants to win that stuff.
Yeah, see?
I don't think this sign's going to win, unfortunately.
Now, remember, guys, you can get a giveaway when you come down here, but you got to be good with these signs, okay? You see a guy like that, you're probably already sweating. You might go make a second sign and say, okay, I got to step up my game.
So Horang2 over on the left and Mind over on the right. Yeah, this is going to be really interesting, man, because this is a very neat map. You know, you're on low ground when you start, but you have a gigantic main, right? So there's like all these differences that can occur, especially with different races and different matchups. Like, for instance, Gladiator, you start on low ground, right?
Right.
But the main is kind of small, so it's actually a little bit hard to get your structures placed all correctly, especially as a Terran player in TVP, because you have to fit the depots, fit the factories, fit the add-ons, plus have like good anti-zealot harassment, you know, placement, stuff like that, maybe some turrets. But on this map, you're not going to run into those types of problems. It's a giant main. You can fit everything super easily. And then on that little ridge above you, there's like 3 ramps on that ridge, one of which is a huge one.
Right.
There's a gas expansion that's right near your ramp, and then there's a mineral-only one that's kind of in the center of the map.
Yeah. It's really fun when we have new maps like this to see, first of all, what do the best players in the world choose to go for, and how do they play the map? But then also what works, right? We've had several maps before. I mean, this is just a common thing when you bring something new into the game is people speculate, what is the best race on this map? Is there a best race? How does each race want to play? If there's a race that's not good on a certain map, how do they try to adapt to that? How do they try to play around that? So this is actually one of my favorite things as a caster is once we have something brand new, kind of seeing how the map unpacks itself with good players.
Yeah, and it's wonderful because a huge percentage of this map pool is on the StarCraft Remastered ladder right now. So, for instance, watching this, you can take these strategies and actually try them out yourself, which I'm very excited for. You were talking, you hope your wrists get better.
Yeah.
I hope they do too, Tasteless, because we're going to see some great builds here.
Yeah, we certainly are. So we have the initial SCV and Marine coming out. Now, it's important for Terran to try to really claim the high ground early on. Since you do start on low ground, sometimes Protosses can actually try to bully you off of a position. Oh, and there's that dinosaur bones.
Yeah.
Artosis likes. Looks pretty big. Could be a Dipperdon. We don't know for sure.
A Dipperdon?
Yeah.
Is that a real dinosaur?
Yeah, of course it's a real dinosaur.
Really?
Artosis. I was one of those kids that was actually very into dinosaurs.
Yeah, no, I was too, and I never remember a Dipperdon.
Dipperdon.
I remember Diplodocus,
That's
Dimetrodon.
another one. Yep.
I remember those two.
Yep.
I think you combined 2 dinosaurs.
No,
in
I did
one
not.
dinosaur.
I did not. I'm going to check on my phone later on.
Okay.
See if I'm right.
I'm going to hold you to that.
And if you're wrong, I'm going to call you a dipper dumb for ever challenging me. So,
Dipper stick. Okay, so he actually had 2 SCVs out on the map. So it took a little bit, but he ended up finding Horang2 down there. It looks like nothing crazy happening on either side. They're both going to go ahead for their expansions after the initial tech up. And Mind actually opening with a Vulture. That's kind of interesting to see. You don't see that every time.
I think when Terran does this, what they want to do is wait for the Dragoon to come out, and then you run around him. You run around him and try to get in there and kill off as many workers as you can. Now, the thing is, we don't know if Horang2's really going to try to commit to any aggression at all. It seems like so far he wants to play pretty much a passive game where he wouldn't die to a rush.
Yeah, and with the Dragoon coming out, this Vulture's not going to really get anything done. But even just having this out on the map, because you can outrun these Dragoons, he'll be able to lay some mines out there, and that is so helpful. You can lay them where you think they might take the third. You can lay them in walk paths and things like that, and it just kind of gives a little bit of map control to Terran to have this Vulture out here so early.
Okay, we have the Robo facility on the way now, and honestly what Horang2's doing is it's pretty straightforward. I mean, he wants to get another base up. He wants to try to mass up. You know, on new maps, especially when it's a new map, especially for the Protoss against the Terran, sometimes there's a lot of tricks you want to try early on, but Horang2 says no. He wants to do a very standard game, at least for now. I mean, we'll see if he rushes into carriers or does something really weird, but at least what we're seeing so far appears to be pretty standard.
And I tell you, I wouldn't mind with that Robo seeing some Reaver tech out of Horang2. I think that this is a pretty good map for it, especially since you're a low ground main. You don't really see the shuttle coming very quickly.
Oh, that's a good point.
You literally don't see it till it's in your base. That's just one of the things that happens with these low ground mains. So that could be a nice strategy, and especially considering we've been talking about how it's kind of a good map for carriers, or at least it seems so. I mean, we haven't seen a bunch of pro games here yet, but Reaver can lead into things like that pretty well. It slows down early pushes really well.
It's interesting because this has gotten more and more popular in StarCraft 1, and, you know, way long ago when StarCraft first came out, the general school of thought was if you can rush for a Reaver and try to do damage, but eventually you got to cut that out and try to just macro up. But pros are really showing that the Reaver is an incredible tool when comboed with a shuttle and can do so much damage in so many different ways. And even if you don't get in there and kill SCVs or anything like that, it can help in a fight. It also makes them make turrets, so they have to defend. They have to respect the Reaver.
Yeah, that's very, very true. And we've even seen some players like Snow, for instance, utilize that Reaver basically all game long. And, I mean, if the game is fast-paced, it's going to be good because you're not going to be able to set up turrets everywhere. Well, right now we have Mind moving out, a few siege tanks, a few Marines. I don't know if he's actually going to be able to get too much done with this, but it's always nice to kind of poke into the Protoss. As long as you're not losing siege tanks, you're basically fine doing this.
Yeah, I think this is a great move because Protosses can get greedy. You know, sometimes they'll make just a few Dragoons and then only make gateways or something like that, not even make out of them right away just so they have a really functional economy. And this is already a really good exchange here for Mind.
Yeah, this is already fantastic, as you say. Oh my gosh, he killed that before the Mind Drag worked, and now Mind getting right up to this wall. He's going to lose some structures, possibly.
Yeah, this is actually quite annoying because he can lose his observatory.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the most expensive thing, but this is a really good push from Mind. Really good.
I'm hoping for Horang2's sake he actually queued up extra observers before that was taken out. So far, so good, though. Okay, now the Dragoons can target down these tanks. It's about I should say 8 Dragoon shots total to kill a tank.
Yeah.
But I think he might have actually overextended there.
Yeah,
that was actually a little bit messy. And you can see that this is not doing the damage it should have done here, what Horang2's trying to do.
Yeah, like I like this push so much from Mind. He lost 2 siege tanks and his Marines and some Vultures from here, but killing the observatory and getting that many Dragoons, you have to feel really nice. Like, Protoss has no real presence right now, and he doesn't even have enough gateways to remake this quickly, so, like, this was really nice.
Yeah, very nicely done.
It seems like Horang2 mismicroed a little bit during that battle as well, I have to say.
I mean, Dragoons can be tricky to micro in intense situations, and you got to remember Horang2, he hasn't had anywhere near as much experience as Mind. I mean, maybe he's totally calm and a sociopath up there, I don't know, but that's, I'm just saying that's something to keep in mind you know,
they were
there is
different
a lot of pressure
calibers and stuff back in the day.
For sure, right? Now we have Mind making another command center. He's going to try to land that pretty soon here. Horang2's kind of bunched up on 2 bases. and he's going for a very quick Arbiter tech. And this is kind of, this is actually probably one of the best builds to know in 2018 PVT.
Sure, absolutely.
If you want to play correctly. So if you guys are here not just for entertainment, but to try to improve your own game, this is actually a great build to do.
Yeah, to get that very quick Arbiter out with this type of speed. You can go into either Stasis or Recall. It's really up to you, and Recall can be good here, again, because you're on a low ground main. But just in general, it's such a useful unit. Now, something I find interesting is the location he's chosen for his third base, that mineral only. I feel that is a base that you can actually shell from the low ground exceedingly easily.
Yeah, I actually feel like this is such an undesirable expansion point here for Horang2.
For Protoss, definitely.
Yeah, for Protoss specifically, but yeah, for Horang2 in this position, I'm a little bit surprised that he's even taking it, but I guess he's saying, look, I'm going 2-base Arbiter into a later third base here. I'm going to have the muscle to deal with the Terran, but even if you had the muscle to deal with the Terran, why wouldn't you take a base that's hidden? I mean, not even, I guess I shouldn't say hidden, that's far away. Like, if he were to take the mirror version of what Mind was taking here, Mind's taking this base way over here on this island with a bridge on it.
I kind of am feeling that way because, again, you have those dinosaur bones in the center. You can definitely set up.
Oh, whoa. There's actually nothing to defend here.
Oh, my gosh. A DT drop coming out right now. And look at that. I mean, he's getting some decent damage done. There is a Wraith on the way, and he saw that, so it looks like he's going to abandon these and try to get the shuttle out. But they're definitely doing damage worth their value.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised at how much damage they're doing, to be totally honest here.
Yeah.
I think it might have been better to try to pick those up and eventually go over to the expansion.
Wow, I wish we could maybe either zoom out or move that a little bit. I think some of his building structures blocked his units from getting up there.
Well, this is another thing that can happen on a new map is you don't have the exact right placement. It's pretty brutal in StarCraft 1 if you screw up where your buildings are placed.
Well, right now, that definitely was a good drop, in my opinion. Now, Horang2 taking a fourth base very, very quickly, maybe feeling like Mind has taken enough damage that he can get away with this. His Arbiter should be about on the way. Clearing out some of these mines now as well, but I feel like if Mind actually just hits a nice push pretty soon here, he should be able to at least deny mining for a little bit at the third.
Yeah, but if Mind messes up that push, he's going to lose a lot of his tanks. It'll be a big reset button for him in this game. That's going to allow Horang2 to start to swallow up the entire map.
You're certainly right about that. If you lose those tanks, it's pretty darn hard to come back. Now, the Vulture's actually moving down. These Dragoons look like they were kind of patrolling outside near that fourth base. Oh my gosh, the Vulture's running by right now, going after probes. So since he's doing this, I don't think we're going to see a full dedicated push yet. He's going to be getting more upgrades. Like, if you're spending your Vultures like this, you no longer have enough units to protect your siege tanks. You really can't be moving out with just a paltry sum of Vultures to keep your 12, 14 siege tanks alive. That's not going to work out. So he's actually a little bit low on army. Trades a decent chunk of his army there for the probes, but it's not like Mind is in trouble or anything. He's got his 3 bases, as we saw there. He's getting his upgrades because he does have the science facility, so he's going for the longer game.
Okay. He's getting a lot of upgrades here with these forges, actually a double forge play. By the way, where does Terran want to take a fourth base, Artosis? I mean, I guess you could take the minerals.
I think you take the mineral.
Okay, then I guess if we have to. Is there any other base that Terran can easily take from there?
Yeah.
This map is kind of funny the way it's shaped.
I think you take 2 mineral bases right in a row. You take the one on your high ground and then the one on the high ground right outside of like where he's set up right now on that other main. And then you can probably just kind of spread in that direction that you're pushing and expand behind it. I'm fairly certain that's going to be the best way because all the other bases are really spread out. Like, you can't take another corner because if Protoss attacks it, you have no recourse.
Right.
An Arbiter goes in and recalls, the base is gone. Whereas if you're taking these mineral ones, yeah, they're mineral ones, but Vultures are good units.
They are very good. So, with the Arbiter tech here, there's a point in time where, and I think we're basically already there, where it's going to be pretty hard for the Protoss to try to take his army and run over the Terran. But at the same time, the question is, well, then how do you break the Terran? So, what you do with the Arbiters is when you do see the Terran leave, and when they have the full upgrades, they are going to be a little bit stronger than the Protoss if they have to fight head-to-head. And then what you have is a recall inside the main. Now, I think this is a wise decision to try to turn around here from Mind. This is
the 3 health.
Such a futile attempt here.
Oh, wow. You don't see this every day.
Okay. By the way, Arbiters can attack. They're possibly the worst attacking unit in the game, but I guess if
It
you
is,
have 3
truly.
HP on a dropship.
Yeah, no problem. Take that out easy. So he's got his Arbiter tech out. Horang2 taking more and more bases. You know, like, Mind isn't dead or anything by any means, right? He can definitely still take this game. But I feel like he's a little bit slow on doing anything, really, right? His drops didn't do that much. The Vulture Run By didn't do that much. The initial attack was pretty sweet. But we're sitting here at almost 14 minutes. He's at 160 supply. He should have 2-1 right about now, I would imagine. And
oh, hold on. Here comes that recall. Does he get the EMP off? All right,
boy.
no EMP at all.
Well, a lot of Vultures coming up right now. He's targeting down some of these turrets. It looks like the turrets will kill the Arbiter, so that's nice. So the Mind's clearing up some of these Zealots. So hopefully this doesn't do too much damage to his economy. It looks like he's going to be okay.
Yeah, but you know what? Honestly, Artosis, this is probably a good play by the Protoss overall. It's keeping the Terran back. He's going to get some SCVs. And again, with Protoss, what you want to do is you want to keep repeating this over and over.
Yeah.
Now, how long can this game go on? It's kind of weird, right, on this map because, like, who gets the bottom right, for instance? I guess Protoss could, but Terran could possibly try to drop that and harass that. What about the top left? I guess that's maybe the most likely spot, but there's not a ton of mineral patches, I should just say expansions, actually, on this map, right? But as long as Horang2 can keep Mind in his base and defending, Horang2's doing a pretty good job because Mind is still not maxed out yet.
Yeah, and that can be a problem, right? Because if Protoss, every time they're kind of hitting this max while they're ahead on bases, are doing a move like that, it really slows Terran down. Because Terran, against a max Protoss, you can't be moving out at 135 supply. You know, you got to get, especially if you're down on bases, you want to move out as close to max as possible so you can have very efficient trades to make up for the fact that Protoss has taken this many bases.
Okay, we're getting to the point where Protoss is actually getting terrifying if you're a Terran player because
look how many gates.
But not just that, gates in the main and in the bottom starting location. Whoa! Okay, so these are hallucinated.
Those
These are hallucinated arbiters so that they can tank the shots. But one EMP could change this. Oh, but he EMP's the wrong one.
No, you got it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
he actually did get
EMP is a pretty big radius.
Yeah.
So that's really good and very important. If that had gotten off, that could have been like a back-breaking move against mine. But right now, Horang2 decides he wants to attack up this hill. I do not think so, Horang2.
Yeah, this is pretty ambitious, especially after the EMP didn't work. But so ideally, if magically my play-by-play had gone the way I thought it had, there would have been a recall inside the base. The army of mines would have been pulled towards the main, and then this big attack comes in the front.
Yeah.
And you start trying to beat the Terran in.
Yeah, and
think of it like stepping on a can. Like, you know when you have a can and you don't have enough room in the recycling bin and you're trying to smush that Terran down into a little recyclable.
Like it was a good idea, and I like the hallucinations, but mine being very fast there, and that's one of the harder skills to develop as a high-end Terran player is being able to hit those EMPs, but it's so crucial as we saw.
Okay, another big attack up here. I do question this a little bit, but that's a great storm.
Yeah, another great storm, but was that efficient? No, not really. Now, Horang2 has a bunch of bases, so like these moves aren't going to kill him, but mine is getting a bit frightening at this point. He must have 3-2 on the way, which is really strong. Once he gets 3-2, man, these Protoss units are really going to melt.
Yeah, this is kind of crazy. He's just going to try to come up here and shove. I guess he wants to try to storm the mineral patches over and over. But, I mean, look at Horang2's supply. It plummeted down to where Mines was.
Yeah, he's getting very low on gas, too. He's made a lot of High Templars. He's made Arbiters, continuing to try to get some upgrades at least. So, refilling a lot on Zealots. Not that Zealots are obviously not bad, but, you know, if Mind has the correct factory count right now, if he's sitting there on, 10, 12 factories, he's going to be making so many Vultures to be able to counter those Zealots.
Okay, this is a great play by Mind. This, despite all those gateways over there, you need to fill up that location with cannons as well.
Yeah.
Or a few Vultures are going to ruin everything. Yeah, I mean, this is rough. Now, Horang2's still expanding at a pretty incredible rate, but where is that push from Terran? I think it's going to be here very soon, Artosis, and Horang2, if he's not ready, if he doesn't have the recalls and the counterattacks there, he's going to die.
Yeah, it looks like he wants to get another recall off, but right now, Mind is maxed. They both maxed out, in fact. That is a lot of turrets. Notice how he's floating the buildings. That's so he can see the Arbiters coming. Now, this will easily get in because
But he might
of
end up recalling on top of some mines. That could be bad as well.
Definitely could be.
Whoa!
Okay, that was a great location. Very few mines in there, and now Mind has to send some units in to clear this. Looks like he's going to attack at the same time.
Yeah, that he does. Normally we see the Terran pull back inside of his main when this happens, but instead Mind decided it is time to pull the trigger, and Mind is heading across the map, but he's basically completely surrounded by red here on the mini-map.
Yeah, this army has to kill at least a couple bases, and I think that it absolutely can. Some good size storms, so that was like kind of a random High Templar, but definitely softening the tanks a bit.
Now, I want to point out it was double forge here from Protoss, but you're already seeing how powerful Terran mech is once they get those upgrades. It's very difficult to deal with.
Once you have 3-2 mech, you feel just about invincible. These units are going to be able to do a lot of damage. He's going to take out the mineral base first, which, I mean, a kill is a kill as far as a base goes, but that was kind of the weakest base of the entire game. He's got to do more than that.
I think what he wants to do is try to get over here onto this, where the natural expansion is, not because he wants to stop mining from there. It's basically mined out, but because he wants to clog up an exit point here for where all the gateways are. Even though there's gateways in the bottom, the vast majority of the gates are actually over there. Oh, this is going to be bad.
Yeah.
Okay, he's going to run. That was close.
Yeah, he's got observers all over the place. Now, this is exactly what you were talking about. He's made it hard for units to come out, and now he's hitting another location. A really strong move here from Mind.
Okay, some Zealot bombs coming out here. He's trying to use the splash damage from the tanks to drop the Zealots next to tanks so that they take damage there as well. I don't know about that stasis, but the fact that Terran is on the run right now, I actually don't know if this is the best decision for Mind. Granted, Mind did not have any easy decisions that he could have made here.
He has to reinforce this army. This is just a very small amount of units, and every siege tank matters. He's got like 5 in the bottom left killing that Nexus, so those are going to be dead whenever Horang2 wants to go kill them. He's got a few that are stasis. Those are going to be dead when the stasis wears off, and now he's running home with what's left over, but he's losing a few on the way.
Okay, the push continues on here from Horang2 coming in. He's trying to bite back. And he has actually chased the Terran pretty far away. I mean, you know, I don't know, Artosis. Do you feel like it would have been better for Mind to try to set up a position and contain at the gateways?
I don't think so. Like, you have to kill bases more than contain, because he does have recalls to get out. He has some various things he can try. But what I feel like Mind has messed up here is he did not reinforce. You need to be sending every set of units that comes out of your factories across the map to help the rest of your army, because if you don't, Protoss will whittle you down. And here, yeah, he killed 2 Nexuses, but that bottom main and natural still belong to Horang2.
By the way, massing up a ton of upgrades here. On the Protoss side was Horang2. I mean, his army is nowhere near as brittle as a lot of late-game PvT armies are. But I'm starting to get worried here for Mind, because after that initial push, we see Mind's at 144 supply. Horang2 is basically maxed out, but he can also remax out over and over and over again. And these bases, the minerals are not growing over there, Artosis, on the Terran side. I mean, he needs to eventually either kill the Protoss or play what is probably one of the more technical late-game situations, a Terran trying to expand out to uncharted territory.
Well, that becomes super difficult, because if he starts expanding the top, he can't attack the bottom as well. That's not going to work. He's at 150 supply. Now, here comes Horang2. Looks like he's got a stasis ready. I think he's going to clear this army tasteless.
Oh, beautiful stasis right there. That was a huge chunk of the tanks. But, you know, there's so many tanks. Never mind. That's so many Zealots now coming up here.
That's
He's going to just tear through this.
This is, like, almost the end for Mind. He can't really remax at this point. He's lost way too many tanks way too many times.
Yeah. Kind of crazy to see this happen here. I mean, Mind, especially losing that number of tanks there, it's so hard to recover from this.
Yeah.
And by the way, Horang2 actually now has the top left, but hold on a second. The bottom right's being taken by Terran. I almost missed that.
Okay, you know what? If he can secure that and get some kind of decent trades, he still has a chance, right? We see that Horang2's bank is basically gone. You know, he's still doing a good job clearing up a lot of these units. But if you don't have a whole bunch of extra minerals and gas as Protoss, Terran can kind of start turtling, and you can't do too much.
Yeah, well, this also telegraphs that the base is being taken by these SCVs go down here. So now I'm getting worried for Mind again. This is tricky.
Yeah, it's an emotional roller coaster, this game.
Yeah, no kidding.
Really kind of going both ways. But you know what? Mind, he's got these ridiculously awesome upgrades. The supplies are close enough. He can definitely fight on. Doesn't want to lose this command center, though.
No, he does not. By the way, Horang2 never took the bottom left base on the mini-map. So, oh no.
How does he not have a cannon?
I know, this is so crazy.
Kid had 4K for so long. Just make a cannon.
I do want to point out, though, since that bottom left base isn't taken, even though I guess in a perfect game, which you basically never have in StarCraft, he would have that. That's going to be minerals he can mine later on if this game does begin to heat up.
Well, you know, his bank has dried up. He does have to make units. He has to balance that with restocking some of the probes. He's lost to harassment. He lost the 2 nexuses. There's definitely some hard decisions here for Horang2. Mine continues to push, but his economy is getting dry. He really very soon needs to think about taking another base. Because, like, his main is dry, his natural's dry. He's got the mineral-only base, sure, and he's got the top right. But the top right he's had a long time. I can't imagine there's a lot of minerals left.
Yeah, exactly. And, again, right now the map is being controlled here by Horang2. But look at the supplies again. They're basically even, which tells me that maybe if a Terran could push out or try to do some damage, that could be all he needs.
Now look at this. All these vultures coming in. That cannon actually messing with the AI quite a bit, but he's still getting damage done. These Goliaths kind of in the middle of nowhere fighting Dragoons. Not a battle that they'll win. Loses a very high energy science vessel as well.
And it looks like this command center is going to burn down.
Ooh. I'm actually surprised he took that as the 4th base, to be honest, Stasis.
I think he wanted to be sneaky, but the thing is he transferred SCVs in the middle of a fight. And, I mean, once Protoss sees that, it's not a matter of mechanics to take it out.
I didn't actually notice. The top left got killed during this time.
Yeah.
So that's a big moment as well for Mind. That leaves Horang2 on 2 bases with the mineral only being taken again. And he's lost probes at those 2 bases quite a few times, but I think he has a lot over there still.
The problem now, though, is that I think Horang2 has so many arbiters.
Yes.
There's a point in time where Protoss get enough arbiters that you can stasis so many times that there's actually, it's like a choose-your-own-adventure of how do you want to dismantle the Terran's army.
Yeah, and there's a few ways Terran can try to deal with that. Obviously, science vessels with EMP are very important, but we just saw him lose an almost full energy one, which is 2 EMPs. Right. Other than that, if your economy is big enough, sometimes you want to make like 12 Goliaths. Plus 3 Goliaths can actually take down an Arbiter pretty darn quickly. You force their stasises out immediately upon the Goliaths as soon as they see them even.
Thing is, if you have this many Arbiters, you stasis all 12 of those Goliaths with 2 stasises, then you stasis everything else in the game.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And then 20 minutes later, when it finally wears off, you kill my army in chunks.
That's right. You ever notice it with the dinosaur bones? There's like a little baby dinosaur next to it in the middle of the map. It's like really sad. That's the mama and the baby.
I just figured this out. This is why it's called roadkill. There's all these roads going to the center.
Yeah.
I want to know what ran over that. It must have been a 3-3 siege tank.
Okay, Mind has decided to try to move out. And, I think that Horang2's looking good. There's still a chance for Mind, but, I mean, Protoss would be fairly happy with this position. They just need to take on this maxed out army. But oddly enough, it seems like Horang2 sort of neglected this location over here. Okay, here we go. Where's the stasises?
All right,
the stasi.
That's a really good stasis up there. These Goliaths trying to target down that Arbiter. They might actually end up getting it. And continue to hit pretty good stasis. He has a lot of vultures here, though, so he's actually not going to lose this army.
Okay, I'm almost a little bit confused about what I'm seeing here. The army was not very organized when he attacked with that.
Yeah, that was kind of weird from Horang2 for a moment there. And now Mind actually taking another base. It looks like he's hitting this mineral base, but this gives an opportunity for Mind to maybe kill another
I almost
Nexus.
felt like he should have recalled on some of that army. Do you know what I'm saying? Those tanks sieged up over there. By the way, these probes are going to get evacuated. Let's hope he has cannons back at that natural expansion.
Well, that's going to get killed off. And, oh, man, the Vulture's coming in right now. Well, these are 3-3 Vultures. They can absolutely kill 2 cannons, no problem.
It looks like Horang2 might be trying to come over here and attack into that main area. Well, not what we see on screen, but at the northern point on the map.
Well, that is definitely an area that he needs to deal with. He cannot be letting Mind get that type of base. A full another main base would be just a travesty.
Keep in mind,
for
every time that Mind transfers SCVs and then the base is hit pretty hard, he loses a ton of workers. I mean, the worker count should actually be pretty surprisingly low here for Mind. Still no cannons there. It's so crazy.
Yeah, he just, I guess it finally has a few units that are actually made out of these gateways. It's a good amount of Zealots. With the Arbiter coming in, you know what? If you miss a scan, then suddenly your whole army's gone.
Yeah, and I don't know if Mind is watching, and a great recall there on the ramp to drive away some of these Vultures.
Yeah, and that's actually a really good recall considering it was all Vultures and Goliaths up there. Dragoons are the natural enemy of those units.
Okay. I think this is going to be the beginning of the end here. I think Horang2 is eventually going to lose any more control in the middle of the map. His economy is drying up. He just has to kind of, I guess you could say, keep it together. There's only a few more mineral patches that Mind is mining from. Horang2 simply if he doesn't make any major mistakes from here on out, he should be fine.
Mind basically has to kill this base at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
If he does not kill this with this push, he will lose this game.
I love this. Look, he's sending 1 DT out here.
Yeah, that's smart.
Because even though Terran scans, well, then there's still going to be a big cloaked army with the Arbiter coming up here. And it's just one way to try to bleed him out.
Yeah, it's a nice little add into there. Now he's coming down. He's laying the mines. Hey, he actually has a very decent chance of killing this off. He needs to hit his scans, though.
He's not quite, Horang2 isn't quite playing as well as he could have. Those are some decent mine drags.
Yeah.
But he needs to do a recall or something. I think we're going to see that right now. Here we go.
That would be a big thing. If he can actually recall on those tanks on the high ground, yeah, he does exactly that.
I think that should be
the
GG,
army.
actually.
I think that one more command center has been floated over from Mind, I believe, into the top base. So this still gives him a bit of a chance. He's killed a lot of the probes. No, not enough of the probes. That's still a really highly efficient base. And Horang2 does have 2 other nexuses that are mining right now. So, yeah, 50 supply mines. Sorry, buddy. Even with that nexus, not looking good.
So, it's all down to that command center. But I just can't imagine Horang2 doesn't check that soon. In fact, he's even going to try to push up here. He wants to just kill off the remaining tanks. If he does that, then, I mean, there's also not really much else you can do. Great storm there on that last tank.
Yeah, still has to pull back. A few kind of weird attacks from Horang2, but...
Yeah, well, to put some emphasis on this, Mine's at 40 supply.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just so low.
It is indeed.
And some of that's in SCVs, guys. So this is going to be rough. And I think this actually will be the nail in the coffin. I think Mine's already dead, but he's trying to hold out hope here. But hope is about to be the last thing to go at this point in time, as the rest of this is going to come in here.
Yeah.
And there's just no defense. I mean, Mine doesn't have anything to defend this with. He's so behind.
Yeah, in fact, I just heard the GG scans that every Terran in the whole entire world does. You're about to leave the game. You scan around, check what their bases look like to get a little bit of information there at the end. But Horang2 takes map 1, and that is a strong, solid victory. That was a nice macro game, back and forth. I feel like Mind maybe missed a couple opportunities there where he could have done a little bit better, especially the main push that killed 2 Nexuses in the beginning. He had to reinforce that immediately with all of his factories producing. It's like you make your round, you go back to make the next round and send the round you just made, and you just keep on cycling through that. Then I think that this game actually could have been won by Mind pretty easily.